Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. First off, fan on in the window because I need moving air. And this is on because it's a chilly morning. We're only supposed to hit like mid-70s today, which means we're going to be close to 80. But still, that's better than the close to 100 we've been the past couple days. So right now, fan on in the window for moving air. This on because I'm a trifle chilly, because it's a trifle chilly this morning.
Battery low.
And the battery is low on my speaker. I need to turn it off or it's going to keep doing that. I need to charge it later today.
Power off.
Son of a gun. But it has been a heck of a day yesterday and a heck of a day today. Not a whole lot has actually happened because of heat. But I have never been one to be intelligent, and so I do things in the heat anyway. I waited until the heat was gone yesterday. Well, the sun was gone. And it was 7-ish when I headed out to the stores to go get stuff. And it was 9-ish. Well, I left at 7-ish. It was 9-ish when I got back. It took about 2 hours, which pretty good for pushing a walker. Thumbs up for that. Definitely a good thing. Took out the garbage this morning. And just in general, woke up at 8 o'clock. It is 9:02 right now, so I am far behind. And still pretty hyper because I've got severe ADHD and I'm only using, Wellbutrin / Bupropion as part of an ADHD thing. And then guanfacine, a blood pressure med, as another part for ADHD control. How well do they work? I am very flighty. They do not work at all. Yay! I mean, they work a little bit. I can't say they don't work at all. But it has been a day. Now, what all big things have happened since yesterday? Let's take a look on my list, and absolutely nothing other than I talked about yesterday how I'd gotten this letter from SSI. I called them up yesterday. I had to call them up twice because the first time it just ended up being I was on hold so long that their system crashed and I had to call back. But I ended up getting through to somebody, found out that in their records, they say they sent me a request and paperwork in April for me to fill out. I never got that paperwork. So this threatening letter of, we didn't get anything from you, we're going to turn your stuff off, is from April of this year. They are resending it. It's going out today. They say it should be here Tuesday. Instead of the 14th, they extended it a full week. I have until the 21st to get it to them. Okay. So that's good, at least, so I know what the situation is, I know what's going to happen, I know what the whole situation is, so we're good, quote unquote. The terror is still there, of course, but it's not as bad. Thumbs up for that. Yay! So at least that's a going on, and that's a good thing. I know what's happening, and we're getting that done. Past that, though, not really anything has happened since then. I mean, things have happened. I do things. I clean up. I play things. Up here, this second shelf is just getting bigger and bigger. I mentioned yesterday that I discovered some stuff in my room that I had printed like last month and was sitting there waiting to be put into paper protectors and up into notebooks. So I'm got printing that I keep doing, and then I just found some printing that I had done. That is still a handful and a half of solo and non-solo RPG stuff. It's primarily solo, but there are things like there's Sacrifice and White Box, Amazing Medieval Adventures, which are both printed books that are up here, and so those are not solo. And then there are Scarlet Heroes in here, which is not solo. But the thing is, there are so many other books like There's a thing called the Gemulator, which is the Game Master emulator, and then there's the Mythic Game Master emulator, and so many things out there are coming out with various different oracles that you don't even really need a big book to have to be a game master. You can do it with just some simple sheets that people have made up. So there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of things. I keep getting some of it accidentally more, well, not accidentally, stuff that I had not realized that I'd had, and I'm going to keep picking up free stuff because I collect things if I'm not careful, and this has turned into my latest obsession. For ages I collected comic books until I had around 30,000 comic books. So I can fixate pretty hard on material objects, which is why I am trying to trim my life down so it's more minimalist, because stuff is just stuff and it doesn't matter. So, as stated, the reasons, I enjoy these things because number one, I haven't owned them, number two, I can read them, and number three, I can actually play them. I want to do 96 Dungeon, 96 Quest. There are a couple people that have been playing it online on their channel, and one person went and, because of their situation, cleared up a thing for me. I had done an actual quest, but I had some dead dice, and there's ways that you can heal your dead dice to wounded dice. But then I couldn't see rules for between mission healings to get them all the way up. Apparently, because the person that does this also does 4 Against Darkness, and those rules are laid out horribly. The guy's smart, but he needs a better editor. But the rules are between missions, all of your dead dice become wounded dice. Which, if you remember, you have 9 dice in your fresh that become tired, that become wounded, that become dead as you play a mission. And then the good part is all of those dead dice become wounded dice between missions, thank goodness. So he had not been doing that. I had not been able to find that in the rules, so that helps. And I still want to play it. I've shown these before, I'll show them again. I've got these things of little dice, little colored dice. They're little tiny things, but I can use these, for fresh and tired and wounded and dead. The colors are not very happy and friendly they're too happy and friendly for all that. But point being that there's things that can be done so that I've got dice to use. Make them fresh and all. Because after all, whenever you have a challenge, you have to roll your dice, and you have to roll fresh dice if you have fresh dice. If you're out of fresh, you can go down to tired. If you're out of tired, you go to wounded. And you can't roll dead dice because they're dead. It can be a very deadly game because you can heal in towns, but you're collecting treasure points. And treasure points they're not stingily given out, but they're not given out a lot. So yay on that. Still, good game. Want to play it and others for the channel. I got my dice tower. I got my character sheets. I don't know where I'm pointing there. I got character sheets. I got the PDFs. I want to do the combination of PDF and then have the character sheet and or dice things going on. Split screen type. Yay. So we shall see. Checking the rest of my list here, though, one of the things I want to say is there are a lot of people. The people that I follow for solo RPG stuff and non-solo RPG stuff, there's the fellow that goes under the name Questing Beast, and I believe Questing Beast is the guy that wrote Cairn and has come out, or Knave, that's what it is, because there's so many games out there, Knave, and he's coming out with Knave 2, has been on a Kickstarter, successful Kickstarter, and he's got his channel. And there's the micro RPG guy who has his YouTube channel. And then there's this one fellow that I kind of watch, Freddy from RPG Gamers, and does a lot of shorts and some longer videos. But he went and was talking about this one game, and he wrote that game. So many of them out there just make games and sell them, and that people buy them and play them. So that's actually cool. I ought to try and rebuild up. Way back in the 80s, they had a game system called Torps, which was the world's easiest role-playing system. And then it was just a joke game, but it worked. And then as time went on, getting closer to into the middle of the 90s, I was still able to do things even with my drinking. I got inspired and I came up with a generic role-playing game where you had just, your stats were either they were small, medium, or large, and you could get small, medium, or large weapons, and you fought small, medium, and large monsters, and you could have small, medium, and large healing with small, medium, and large spells that did small, medium, and large damage. It was all generic in that fashion, and it worked. I only had myself to play test it, but as a really quick, simple thing, it worked. So who knows? I may try to just quickly throw it back up together and then see if I can put it on one of these sites like Itch or something. Yay! Is there anything else on here? There's some, but it's one of them is, I have talked about this when I was recording it and talked about it otherwise. There's the game Witchhaven, and I got really frustrated the other day when I couldn't record any of Witchhaven. The thing is, there is the Build DGX engine where you can play Witchhaven in 1920 by 1080 and a couple other modern things without it being in DOSBox. Problem is, I am constantly taking just 5 points of damage here, 5 points of damage there, and you're just constantly going, well, why am I taking damage? Play the original off of GOG, and that doesn't happen. There's even an enhanced version still running through DOSBox, but it's graphically enhanced, and it does stretch out to 1920 by 1080, and you don't have any of those issues. I still can wish to hopefully be able to record again, because Bandicam and such just was not working with it the other day, so that was great. And past that, I have just been doing my very best to try and think of creative things. I have been just going back over characters and such and refining things, because with everything happening, with the Social Security stuff, with all the ADHD stuff, with my shoulder still going on and the neck involvement, with the fact that my leg is still sore and getting sorer in areas, with that red discoloration and the swelling, with the homeless threat standing over my head, with every freaking thing. It is hard just to even think normally, let alone try to think of creative stuff. So the fact that I'm fighting so hard to think of creative stuff. So I was thinking of characters and situations, like going over things like Iron John and how their systems work, which again is something that no one would ever know, but I have to make it work, or I'm not going to be able to tell stories about characters from that setting. So making sure that that all works. Running over some of the original types of characters I had in my head for the cryptid setting, with Jimmy Lane Baker, who goes through a 1 week coma, and after he wakes up, he's gone from a 5'6", 150, 60 pound wiry little guy who was not a fighter, who liked to just read and play computer games and like once a week, once every 2 weeks would go out with his friends to a bar, but he always drank moderately. Not a very wild character, whom their cryptid genes express, and they become a Bigfoot type cryptid. He's six. Air puffed out through there again. I hate it when it does that. He's 6'8". He's big, hairy, muscular, and it's hard for him to try and reconcile who he was with who he is when he looks in the mirror now. That doesn't look like Jimmy Lane Baker to him. And he's the unfortunate type who, he's a 13th kind of cryptid, which I have very, very rarely talked about. The 13th kind of cryptid is a cryptid that has to eat human beings because they have a genetic defect. They cannot absorb ambient cryptid energy. They don't know that they're doing this. That's what every cryptid just naturally does. If they can't, then they have to make up that shortfall somehow. And with the quantum, that's the word I was looking for, quantum knotting that forms patterns from intelligence, this energy infuses the meat of a human being, and as it turns out, while it's not exact, is close enough to that ambient energy that by devouring human beings, you make up that shortfall, so you're not going to starve to death and die. The bad part about becoming that 13th kind and having to do that is you don't have any cryptid instincts at all. All cryptids do that tells them, quote unquote, tells them what they've got to do for the archetype and type of cryptid they are. Some cryptids, and those who are expressed cryptids, like, if your genes expressed and you became a cryptid, you can have very, very light programming. This other character I have, David Elia Sanchez, his programming is so light he didn't even realize he was a cryptid. And then Jimmy Lane Baker, as a 13th kind, has zero cryptid programming. Which is bad because, again, as a 13th kind, with that genetic defect, without the programming, without all these things that happen, without this cascade of genes that should be expressing, your mind does not change. He is still Jimmy Lane Baker. He's not eyes open and going, wow, see this great new world. I feel odd and strange, and isn't this amazing? Isn't this amazing? But it's really weird, and I'm getting hungry. What am I supposed to eat? And what are all these people doing? What's happening? What am I supposed to do? And then he discovers that he's got to devour human beings. When he comes out of his coma, one of the first things that happens is there is a cop in his room. And the cop sure smells good. And the cop gets belligerent, and Jimmy can't control himself, and he eats the cop, which is a shocker. He runs out of the hospital in absolute horror after he's done. This is when David Elia Sanchez sees him running, and follows. And then they interact, find out what's... David knows that they're a 13th kind. And Jimmy has no ideas because there's no programming. Now, 13th kind cryptids, you might have to eat one person a year. You might have to eat like 52, one a week. It's all depending on your genetic programming, and Jimmy Lane Baker has to eat someone every single week or he will starve. And the bad part again about being a 13th kind is you have no cryptid programming, as mentioned. So when you devour another human being, you've got nothing up here to filter you. You are a human being eating another human being alive. It's horrific. The vast bulk of 13th kind cryptids do not survive past the first 5 years. They take themselves out of the game, out of horror of what they have to do to live. The vast bulk of those remaining don't even last 10 years. So it's hard to be a 13th kind. And Jimmy Lane Baker, at 6'8" and very, very heavy, is finding that out, that it's really, really hard. Luckily for him, he has his friend, David Elias Sanchez, who discovers while they're together that they too are a cryptid. And they discover that, checking the time, it's a good thing that they didn't know, because their cryptid is really, really awful, and yet. So hopefully I'll talk about that tomorrow, because right now I'm going to go through and thank how many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours, because as much as I am trying to do this, my arm is sore, and I am in a hurry today because I woke up so late because I got to bed so late. Even though these are not a different bunch of people, thank you each and every one of these people. These are still very wonderful people that have helped me a lot by being patrons. Thank you, each and every one of my Patreon patrons. Thank you, each and every person who has in the past donated to my PayPal. Thank you, each and every person who has helped me out with my GoFundMe, with my upcoming housing change. I mean, it could happen at the end of this month, could be the end of August, and at the very least, it is going to be at the end of September. Our lease is not being renewed here. I need to find new housing, and I have no vehicle, no way to find housing, no way to move my stuff, nowhere to go. So, yay. But I'm going to go through and thank how many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. It's not a whole ton. I've gotten over 100 and some odd views on my It Lurks Below video, and no comments, so I don't have a ton of comments, but I'm going to thank how many people have left me comments. So, we have, I cannot see at this distance, and I hate it. Jesse Koskinen, thumbs up, thank you, greatly appreciated. There is somebody who speaks in, I forgot to check what language it was, but it's about the game Alien Shooter Last Hope, because it is a very, very good game. I love all the Alien Shooter games. They are janky as all hell. The stories make no sense. I love them. And they are asking basically how to install it. Sometimes it can be tough, and I wish I had a guide. JAYY, thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. And yup, Amelia Kitty. I'm glad she's still breathing. Hope he smokes. Nutty Gaming, thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. And hey, they used to live in Shelton, so hey. There is Rock Vanilla, greatly appreciated. Thumbs up, thank you much. And I should get a spray ball. Very good idea. There is Made in Canada. Well, I'd like to put her in camera. I think she's back there right now, but it's up to her. She has her own personality, and if I try to make her do things, not a good plan. And then there is Sophie Drachen. I do not know how to pronounce your particular version of it, but thank you very much. There is the real one. Thumbs up, thank you. And I need to contact my social worker. Oy vey. 77 Arcturus. That is a very good idea for the water bottles freezing them for the kitty cat. There is Chris Ryan, greatly appreciated. Thumbs up. And oh boy, I gotta be careful. I got me some, I don't want to gain too much weight. You know, I don't mind having a hefty pair up here, but I don't want to gain so much weight. I need to, wear me a B cup or A cup. Oh, that would be too much. We have Nigerian Prince, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. RJ Mitchell, greatly appreciated, always good to see you in the comments. Isaiah Asus, I can't read it at this distance, I'm very sorry. And that is it. Thank you, each and every one of you, for having left me comments in the past 24 hours. You get me out of my head, into the world, dealing with people, thumbs up, and thank you much. Well, hey, I'm going to try and do what I can do today. I still always have phone calls to make. then I'm going to hopefully get some done. That would be a very good thing. Try to do as much as I can, but if I can, survival is important. If you can't get done what you want to get done, survival is important. Just try to make it through the day. Don't beat yourself up if you can't get stuff done. Did beating yourself up yesterday help you get it done today? No, you just beat yourself up and feel bad. Don't beat yourself up, it doesn't help. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing. And once again, as part of the endings now, you might be able to see the little bit of the kitty cat down there. I'm not sure. You know, she likes to sleep down there right now. But hey, yeah, you take care, and I will see you.